Guys, I'm asking you to consider homage.com for all of your apparel needs. If you like these cool NBA Jam t-shirts like the one I'm wearing right here for the Philadelphia 76ers, there is a bevy of options at homage.com. And the great news about homage.com is I am an affiliate sponsor. The Cajun Cardboard channel is an affiliate sponsor of homage.com. And if you go into my YouTube description in the top right, you can click a link that'll direct you to homage.com, and then every purchase you make on the site supports the Cajun Cardboard channel. Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with our frequent recurring guest on Past and Present, Coach Jonathan Pixley. Welcome to the show, Coach.
What's up? What's up? Ready to rock?
Today's going to be a fun one. It's easy, man. I have we went through the NBA GM survey. I love looking at these every single year, right? So for those of you who don't know, every year the NBA polls the 30 GMs of the 30 NBA teams, and they vote on a myriad of questions. I think this year they expanded it to like 50 questions. We're going to get through 50 questions, but we may really glaze through some of these that really don't matter or concern us at all. Yeah. But I've got kind of notes and some observations and some thoughts, some stuff that I agree with, some stuff that I vehemently disagree with, and we'll even look at some of the results of last year's NBA GM survey and see how correct and how intelligent these NBA GMs are. Of course, all of us, everybody watching, and both you and me both think we could be an NBA GM. I would need somebody to handle the payroll and the salary cap and all that crap because I haven't dug into that. But as far as talent evaluation and prognostication and how the pieces fit together and things like that and predicting awards, we've always been pretty good at that stuff, and we kind of like it. So it's a nice opportunity to second guess all the GMs.
No doubt, 100%. And I think the best part is, for us, this is going into the season, and I think that we'll be able to look back at it a little bit because, look, when you hear these prognosticators and a lot of the analysts and whatnot, a lot of it's hindsight, right? 2020. Let's look back and go, okay, well, here's what they should have done. Well, yeah. At some point, you could know that, right? Okay.
Anybody can do that.
Yeah. We're gonna be out front, and if we're wrong, we're wrong, and we'll say we're wrong.
Yeah. Before we get started, I did want to say this is another one of those NBA Jam shirts. I got Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler on this one. That homage.com, they're an affiliate partner of mine. And if you're looking to buy some badass shirts like this or any kind of apparel, they do a great job of blending sort of pop culture with sports. If you want to purchase something on homage.com, HOMAGE.com, make sure you use the Cajun Cardboard affiliate link. If you go into my YouTube description, hit the About section, scroll down to the bottom, click that link, and go in and go buy some badass t-shirts for friends and family. We're coming up on the holidays. We're coming up on Christmas. And there's some really cool, inventive, novel things in there, including I have heard, I've got word from my inside people that there's going to be a Dame Lillard and Giannis NBA Jam shirt coming out soon, which is obviously going to be a hot commodity. So I don't know if they're going to have a Drew Holiday Porzingis NBA Jam t-shirt. What do you think?
Probably
not.
I don't care.
All right, here we go. All right, I got screen share up. What I did, Jonathan, is I cut and pasted the entire survey into an Excel spreadsheet, which is something I'm familiar with, so I could highlight stuff that popped out, or I highlighted in red some stuff that I just very much disagree with, and I figured it was easier this way. We could make notes and talk through it and stuff like that. So you're looking at the actual survey. I've just cut and pasted it into a digestible format in Excel. First question, and it's the big one, and it's obviously always the leadoff question: which team's going to win the 2024 NBA Finals? And it looked like an even split. 10 GMs, it looked like said Celtics, and 10 GMs, it looked like said the Denver Nuggets. And then after that was the Bucks, which looks like maybe 7 or 8 GMs. And then, of course, you can see right here, Jonathan, last year, 43% of the GMs thought the Bucks were going to win it. And, of course, we didn't know Giannis was going to get hurt in that series against the Heat, and we certainly didn't know that Middleton was going to be basically out, but in and out and in and back out of the lineup the whole season. They just never got it going, man. So what do you think about this? Celtics and Nuggets split at the top. Suns only one vote, two votes, it looks like. Does that surprise you? The Suns only got 2 votes?
A little bit. What surprises me more is that people continue to vote that the Clippers are going to play
It's
enough.
unbelievable.
I'm just so tired of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like well, no, you don't do this, but anybody who claims like oh, Ben Simmons is going to be back this year. No, I'm tired of talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm tired of talking about the Clippers.
Yeah.
I'm tired. There's so many things I'm tired of talking about. The Clippers being a contender is at the top of the list for me.
Yep. Yep. If you had to rank your top 4 in order, is it the exact same order?
It's the exact same order. However, Phoenix and Milwaukee would probably, I would have Milwaukee third, but it would be a little closer.
Agreed. I'm with you. Yeah. And I'm a pretty big Bucks fan. But if I call it like I see it, and everybody, let's just say hypothetically, everybody on all 4 of those teams stays healthy.
Yeah.
I think the Celtics have the edge. And I would probably like the Bucks against the Nuggets. I'd like to see that. But I don't like the idea of the Bucks against the Celtics. The only thing that I've got to hang my hat on is Al Horford's a year older. Mm-hmm. You've also got Robert Williams is no longer there, and then Marcus Smart's no longer there. But I think we both agree they replaced Marcus Smart with a much better Marcus Smart, which is Drew Holiday, a better offensive player. He's not the answer offensively, right? He's not your true, score the ball point guard, but he's a better version for sure of Marcus Smart.
Well, here's the deal: they have zero depth at the big.
That's it. That's the issue. If Porzingis, that's what I said. Porzingis is healthy,
right,
and he can just stand there, and everybody funnels to Porzingis. He is a good shot blocker. He still is. He's still 7'2", 7'3", whatever the hell he is. And he looks amazing in the preseason. And he had a great year last year. And I know you're not an empty stats guy, but he was relatively healthy and had a really freaking good year and put up some preposterous numbers with the G League team, the Washington Wizards.
Look, his skill set, nobody can deny. His talent level, nobody can deny. If he's the third option on a team, maybe even the fourth at times, okay? If he's the third option on a team, that's a pretty damn good third option, okay? But here's my deal. Even if those dudes stay healthy, when you get into the playoffs, now granted, they're really salty defensively on the perimeter, okay? But if you get into the playoffs, foul trouble exists, right? And if you don't...
No Grant Williams, Jonathan. No Grant Williams either.
That's what I'm saying. Like, those dudes who you and I recognize, they're role players. They're solid role players, right? But you got to have those dudes in the playoffs, if for nothing else, to give fouls, right?
Yeah.
Minutes. So, yeah, it's a problem.
All right, we're on the same page. We're on the same page with that one. If I just one word answer, if you were the Bucks right now, who would you rather have as your center, Porzingis or Brook Lopez? Right now.
Both are healthy. Porzingis.
Both are healthy. We get them both for 75 games and the playoffs.
Porzingis.
Agreed. All right, here we go. This is the Eastern Conference rankings based on the voting. Were you surprised that Cleveland was third ahead of Philadelphia? You think it's just a matter of being so much uncertainty around Philadelphia with the Harden situation? Cleveland, you know what you got. I mean, they are what they are. We know exactly who they're rolling into the season with. This may be the last dance, as people like to say, for Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland. I'll be honest with you. If I was picking it, I would have picked it in the exact same order. I would have put Cleveland ahead of Philly.
I would have actually flipped Cleveland and New York.
Oh, really? You have New York ahead of Cleveland?
I watched New York. Now, granted, I know we're talking about the regular season.
I know what happened last year. Yeah.
But when I watched that series, I felt like New York was better. I didn't think that they were going to be, but I felt like they were better. So I would flip it. But other than that, here's my deal, though, man. We really, I can't talk about them. We're not talking about them. We're not going to talk about them, right?
The Heat?
Yeah, we can't.
Because somebody picked them to win the East.
Why not?
Well, here's the deal. These MFers almost won the whole damn thing last year without one of their best players. Tyler Hero didn't even freaking play.
They've been in the finals 2 of the last 4 years.
I don't know. I don't even want to talk about them. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
Last year, 72% of people picked Milwaukee to win the East, and Milwaukee finished first in the East. So congrats, GMs. You nailed it last year. Western Conference. Denver, Phoenix, LA, Golden State. Do you have the Clippers fifth? I know you're anti-Clipper, but would you'd have them fifth? Yeah, that's my exact order right there.
I don't know, man. Here's my issue. I think Sacramento to me.
Well, what are we doing with them? What are the GMs? What's gotten worse? Is it not so much as Sacramento's getting worse? Because if you look at their team and their roster, the way it's constructed, they should be getting better because those players are on the uptick.
Yeah,
Keegan
like
Murray, Davion Mitchell, sophomore Jenks. Well, here's the deal: they were the most healthy team, not just in the league last year, maybe in NBA history. Right. But they finished third. Jonathan, damn man, these dudes last year, the Kings won 48 games.
I know.
And they got them picked 7th this year. Is it?
And look, here the West is such a jumble because to me, the Kings you drop them that far. The GMs are looking at it going, okay, well, they don't guard anybody. And offensively, I heard somebody say this on a podcast the other day. Offensively, they were the highest ranked offense in history, or one of them last year, right?
They're there. They were right there.
Okay. And they're like, well, I mean, that's a fluke. That's not going to happen again. Dude, that doesn't happen over an 82-game span unless you can score the ball. So
there's no 82-game flukes.
Right. So
8-game flukes, 8-game runs, 8-game aberrations.
And I'm going to tell you this right now. Look, the team that, if healthy all the way through, that will make the biggest jump is New Orleans, right?
Is New Orleans, yeah.
Period. So, if everybody's healthy, like Golden State's the one to me. Although, did you hear Draymond really going off in a good way about Chris Paul?
No, that's unusual because they never really I know they're going to make it work, but they don't like each other.
I was listening to this today, and you will love this because of your overwhelming fandom for Jonathan Kuminga. But he said that Chris Paul's the reason why Jonathan Kuminga is improving. He has unlocked Jonathan Kuminga.
He's unleashed the beast, Jonathan. He's unleashed the beast. JK stands for just kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
Oklahoma City. That's your. I know. Talk about.
No, that's my team. That's my team, and we'll talk about it later in another episode. But because we're going to do our next episode, just spoiler alert, next week we're going to talk about FanDuel's win totals, and then you and I are going to go 1 through 30 and pick over, under, and then give 1 or 2 reasons why, and do a rapid fire, and we're going to see which ones we agree on, which ones we don't, and why. Oklahoma City's I mean, there is no way in hell they finish 10th in this league. They're just not going to do it, dude. Right. I mean, last year, Jonathan, if we look at last year, they finished 10th at almost a 500 record, and they didn't have a center.
Yeah.
SGA was first team All-NBA. He ain't going to get worse.
Nope.
Josh Giddey is pushing all-star status. He ain't going to get worse. Jalen Williams, the little one, now he's not little, but the big guard Jalen Williams is the real deal. Lugans Dort ain't going anywhere. He defends whoever the other team's best player is. And I'll tell you right now, I know it's a small sample size. Chet Holmgren is not going to let Victor Wembanyama run away with this Rookie of the Year. That dude can play. That dude's got a great IQ. He can shoot the ball proficiently. He ain't that much shorter than Wembanyama. If it wasn't for Wembanyama, we'd be saying, what is this freaky white dude out here who looks like an alien? It's just that Wembanyama is so freaky. Oklahoma City Thunder is my team to take the huge jump. And we're going to have another episode coming soon where we rank our top 30 NBA League Pass teams. They may not be first, but they're going to be certainly in the cream of the crop for me, just as far as like watching prospects and watching young players develop and watching good basketball. I like that team, man.
Big key for the regular season is they're going to care, like Memphis has always done, right?
Right.
Care about winning in the regular season. So I think you could bump I don't know. We'll see. See how it plays out.
Something for everybody to keep in mind. Here's a little hint, right? And I know most of you guys who gamble already know this. If you're trying to bet win totals over under and you just want something to follow during the year, don't forget to look at whether a particular team has the rights to their first round pick. Okay. It factors in, and Utah is a great example. If they've got their pick and they get off to a rocky start and they're 12-23, they may just take the wheels off the car. Like they literally may shut that mug down. Now it's getting harder to do that with the new sitting rules, and we'll talk about that later. All right. Last year, the GMs picked the Clippers and the Warriors to win the West. They got 48%. They both got 48% of the votes in the West. That's 29 out of 30 GMs, and they finished 5th and 6th. Here we go. Who's going to win the 2023 Kia MVP? Tatum being ahead of Don. Well, I don't see any possible potential scenario where Tatum wins that. There's just too much talent on his team. I just don't see any. He also just doesn't do enough. Like, I think you have to do more things. It's like points, rebounds, assists, field goal percentage. And I know he's a pretty good two-way player, and a lot of people think he's a much better defender than he really is, but I can't envision a deal where Tatum would win that.
I differ there.
Best player, best team. I get it. Best player, best team. But usually, Jonathan, PER is the biggest indicator to who wins the MVP, and he ain't sniffing the PER of the dudes ahead of him, or Doncic, or we can go down the list and I can pull up last year's PER. That's what I'll do.
But while you're doing that, if the Celtics win 63 games, okay, and run away with the East, and he's the best player, even though his numbers will dip, they're going to. They need to dip a little bit, right, for their team to be as successful as they should be. But he is, touted as the unquestioned leader, and he's a two-way guy, and he's this and he's that. And look at the sacrifices he's making. I'm telling you, dude, he's going to get more votes than you think.
No way, dude.
He is.
I don't know. He averaged. He did. You know what? He had a little bit better numbers than I thought he did last year. He just didn't shoot the ball well from three.
Right. He had the last 2 years. So that's going to be the issue. But look,
that's going to get better. Doncic. I'll tell you. You can cut this list off. You can cut Doncic off this list. There ain't no freaking way Doncic has a chance. His team ain't got no chance whatsoever. There is, unless something drastic happens with their roster and their depth chart. He has got zero chance of winning the MVP. He can't possibly put up better numbers. He puts up amazing numbers. That team's got no chance. If your team's not top 3 or 4, you'd have to do something otherworldly to win MVP. The one thing that I will say is the two sleepers, and I'd put both of these guys ahead of Tatum.
I'll do it.
Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant. I will. I'll put them both ahead of them. Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant.
One of them, yeah. Don't do it, man. Don't do the
I'm doing it.
Don't, man, stop. God dang it.
All right. All right, here we go.
Look, I will say this. Just tell me what you think about this. I think that Devin Booker may end up being in the conversation if they win a ton of games. And the irony is he'll be in the conversation because he has Kevin Durant on his team. Whereas Kevin Durant will be less likely to be in the conversation because he has Devin Booker and Bradley Beal on his team. Agree?
I don't know. I just feel this narrative where how the media is, and the media matters because the media gave it to Embiid last year because they were sick of giving it to Jokic the same way they gave it to Jokic when they were sick of giving it to Giannis, is that Durant hadn't won that bitch in forever. And
I agree.
If you ask me my top 3 players in the world, he might be 3. He might still be in the top 3, and he hasn't won it in over a decade or something like that. I don't know. I have to go back and look. And you know how they are with that media. The media would love that. Durant hasn't won an MVP since blah, blah, blah. And by the way, he's American. And, everybody that wins it now is foreign. So there's a lot of shit out there for that.
You see where I'm coming from, though, with that? That Booker, if they win a bunch of games, he's in the conversation. I don't know. It's just a thought. I think that he should be on the short list, in my opinion.
Booker should be on the list for sure. He's not on the list. Anyway. All right. If you were starting a franchise today and you could sign any player in the NBA, who would it be?
How long do I have him for?
That's a good point. I don't know. Who cares? 5 years.
Jokic. It wouldn't matter. It'd be Jokic. Yeah.
Are you surprised that Wembanyama's second?
Nope.
Have you seen enough to know he's a can't miss?
Nope.
You think he can miss?
I think he could not be that high. I think he's going to be a really good NBA player regardless.
Is he an all-star this year?
They're going to be so bad.
When's the last time a rookie was an all-star? LeBron wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
I don't think he was.
Was he not? You may be right. I don't think he was. I think you're right. LeBron James wasn't an all-star as a rookie?
Dude, I don't think he was.
How did he not get voted in to start? That's crazy.
Nope.
Hell, Kobe was an all-star.
21 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.6 steals, 0.7 blocks, and was 41% from the field, 29% from 3, and 75% from the line.
Yeah, I know, but I just figured they'd vote him in. The fans would vote him in. But
no, he didn't get it. I guess we got to go back and think Kobe was playing then.
Kobe wasn't an all-star as a rookie. He was an all-star in his second year.
Yeah, but I'm saying the year LeBron didn't get voted in, you got to figure Kobe was playing.
Yeah, but Kobe's in the West.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right. Well, we have to go back and think about it. Iverson, was Iverson playing?
I just thought they'd vote him in. Yao
Shit,
Ming
Jordan was playing. Was Jordan playing? Was it no, because he was 2002. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it doesn't
Which
matter.
anything else on this surprised you? Anthony Edwards got 2 votes. Somebody voted Steph Curry, even though he's really old. SGA, Tatum. No, that makes sense.
I'd
What
have
player
Giannis
forced
a
him?
little lower. I'd bump up Luka and Giannis ahead of him. But man, he might
Yeah.
be first for me. I don't know. Anyhow, go ahead.
Yeah. What player forces opposing coaches to make the most adjustments? This is an interesting one because I don't think you can make any adjustments on Jokic, to be quite honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And then Curry and Giannis would be my 1 and 2. And really, Doncic would be 3. Freaking Embiid would be 4. I would have Jokic, I wouldn't even have Jokic on the list. And it's not because I don't think he's the best player in the world. I do. We've had this conversation. I have come to the terms that he is the best player on earth right now, or at least he was when last season ended. I just don't think there's anything you can do with it because of where he catches the ball. And you can't stop him from catching it. He's the 3rd heaviest player in the NBA. He's literally the 3rd biggest player in the league. And I don't even know if Boban Marjanovic came back, and he's irrelevant. How do you stop him from catching the ball at the free throw line?
It's not about that. I think what you would, and I'm with you on your theory here, okay? But I think what you would question is if he catches it in the post, do you double him every time, right? Which you have to because he's going to score every time. But my point is he's such a good passer. Maybe that's what people are thinking. Do you stunt? Do you double? Do you how do you adjust?
Here's what it should say. What if the question was what is the player the most difficult? Which player is the most difficult to adjust to? Well, that's basically saying who's the most unguardable. Who's the player you really can't do shit about? Jokic is number 1.
Yes.
And I do get the Steph Curry deal. It's a whole different deal. You got to go over the top of everything. You got to go. You can't go under anything. You got to, even off ball screens, down screens. You got to do certain things. You got to, it's all kinds of help, rotation stuff. And then Giannis, of course. Giannis obviously needs more votes than 4 out of 30 because you completely change the way you defend. Well, although that might change this year because he won't necessarily be with the ball at the top of the key with 4 wide and playing 5 wide, 5 out. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I don't know.
What you do with Giannis is you change completely how you guard the other 4 guys.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Yes, specifically the wings, the corners as well, but specifically the wings.
Right.
Which player is most likely to have a breakout season in 2023-24? I'm with Anthony Edwards, number 1. He would be my number 1. I would probably have Tyrese Maxey number 2. Mm-hmm. I do think Cade's going to have a breakout season. By all accounts, he sounded amazing when he was playing against the world team, the USA team this summer. But I would have Maxey just because I think his team's going to get more attention. I think the Pistons are going to suck. I am astonished that the NBA GMs gave twice as many votes to Franz Wagner as to Paolo Banchero on the same team. And again, he had a great World Cup of basketball as well. He looked phenomenal.
That's right. Anthony Edwards would get 60% of my vote.
Agreed. I am. I wish there was a way to bet over under on Anthony Edwards being better.
Now, the other part is this: if you count breakout season and you base it almost exclusively on statistics, Jordan Poole's got to be on the list.
Oh, Jordan Poole. Yeah. How do you bet over under on Jordan Poole's improvement? It's going to be perceived as an improvement. It's really not an improvement. It's just the light just got really green. That's going to be fascinating to watch him and Kuzma have a scoring contest in Washington and watch them lose 62 games, maybe 55 games.
I like it.
So what was I going to say? Oh, I was listening to a preseason game, and it was the Magic versus I can't remember who they were playing. But they announced, it was the Pelicans. And it was our guy, Joel, who I really like to listen to. I don't know his last name, but Joel, he calls the games with Antonio Daniels. Okay. He's like, and look, let me tell you, Franz Wagner is all of 6'7", 6'8". And I was like, brother, he's 6'10".
I was about to say.
He ain't 6'8". He's like a legit 6'10". In fact, I think that merits us pulling this up because I've heard people say he's pushing 6'11". Let's see what this has. 6'9", 225. Okay. Well, he ain't 6'7", 6'8". I can tell you that right now. He is. No. He's not Josh Giddey. He is gigantic. I like both those guys, but if I was a betting man, I would suspect that And maybe it's because Boncaro has less room to improve because he had such a pretty big numbers last year.
I like your Maxey thing. He might get the rest of my votes in that, honestly.
I mean, it all hinges on Harden. I need Harden to disappear. I need him to, throw a tantrum or do a Kyrie Irving trick. Last year was Evan Mobley, and that did not happen.
And you know what? We called it. We called that.
I told everybody, I was like, if you use the name Kevin Garnett or Tim Duncan in the same effing sentence as Evan Mobley, I am going to lose my freaking mind.
Oh, my God.
And now I'm having to say it again about Kuminga. Like, stop talking about Kuminga with reverence. He's been in the league freaking forever. Oh, but he's only 20 years old, 21. I get it. Just tell me when you see him dribble or create his own shot or make decisions. I get it. He's a freak, man. I get it.
Yep.
Who's the best point guard in the NBA? This is a trick question, and I'm going to put these two together. Who's the best point guard in the NBA with who's the best shooting guard in the NBA? Because it's become muddled, and this is something we talk about, positionless basketball, and it's not truly positionless. Obviously, bigs and smalls, those are different. But, like, point guards and wings, especially shooting guards, that distinction has never been more gray than it is today and it's obvious because I've got three names highlighted. They were in the top 5 on best point guard and best shooting guard because GMs didn't know what to call them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's your evidence right there. I don't know what Steph Curry is. I'll say, if you ask me, Steph Curry's a shooting guard. Yep. I know people like to say, is Steph Curry as good as Magic Johnson? Well, A, he ain't even freaking as close, from an accolade standpoint. It's not even close.
Right.
And B, he's not a point guard. He's just not. I mean, go watch the games. He's running off screens the whole freaking game.
Bro,
Doncic is a point guard.
He's not going to play point guard this year. He's going to be their third point guard.
No, of course.
Green is their second point guard.
Doncic is a point guard. Yes. Doncic is unquestionably a point guard. Just because he's 6'7", 250 doesn't mean he's not a point guard. Right. He's a freaking point guard. And then SGA is unquestionably a point guard. He would be a terrible off guard because that's not his game. I mean, he's not a catch and shoot clapper guy. He's not an owl clapper guy. So I don't know. It's kind of tricky questions. Do you agree that let's say we call Steph Curry a shooting guard? Is Devin Booker better?
No.
Not yet.
Nope.
Could he be better at the end of this year? Could you think your mind could change at the end of this year?
If Steph Curry's healthy all year? No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I don't see it because of Steph's ability to do during the course of the year. Devin Booker is not going to prove that he can do more on an offensive end than Steph Curry can. Not
is there a chance that at the end of this year, Anthony Edwards is better than both of them?
Shit, I'm not putting anything past that dude, man.
Dude, I think you and I are on the same page with Anthony Edwards. We are both very, very,
they left somebody out, man. They left somebody out of the best point guard, and you and I have been screaming it. Maybe even me longer than anybody else. LeBron James needs to be in the top. He needs to be in the discussion for the best point guard in the NBA. Okay,
is he better than Damian Lillard?
Yes. Who would you rather have running your offense in the playoffs?
Well, how about this? As a Bucks fan, who would I rather have on my team, Damian Lillard or LeBron James? I mean, I know Damian Lillard's got a little more tread on the tire. I mean, he's not a spring chicken either. But for 1 year, for 1 year, I mean, I would. You put LeBron with Giannis, I think the world might be in trouble.
Yes.
What about Jimmy Butler? How about Jason Tatum getting votes for shooting guard? I guess that's the other thing is like wings or wings. Shooting guard, small forward. What are we even talking about?
Man, this really honestly is like you said, muddled. It doesn't even really matter, right?
How about Doncic getting votes for point guard, shooting guard, and small forward?
Dude, if there's anything that guy's not, it's something other than a point guard.
Okay, here we go. This is why I highlighted this on best small forward in the NBA. In my opinion, it's not even close. It's Kevin Durant. I highlighted Durant in red and Tatum in red because that's just flip-flopped.
Yes.
No human on earth thinks that Jason Tatum is better than Kevin Durant right now.
Well, obviously a lot of people do, unfortunately.
I mean, do people think that? Or was there confusion on this question?
Man, I'm going to tell you, just answer it this way. If you flipped them, would you say Boston is unquestionably a lock to win the NBA championship? Yes.
If you flip them, I think Boston has the best starting 5 in NBA history.
Maybe. You're damn close, if not. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And that's with either Derek White or Horford in the lineup. I'm still going with it. Yep. That's a bitch of a lineup right there.
Oh, my God.
I mean, here's the funny thing. Last year, almost half the GM said Kevin Durant, unquestionably. And then Tatum, I guess he averaged 30. But I mean, it's not like Durant was bad. I don't understand the disparity in the drop off. I mean, Durant got less than half as many votes as he got last year. That's just weird.
Durant does more too on offense.
Kawhi Leonard still got a vote, by the way.
Stop it.
Best power forward in the NBA. Next question.
Yes.
Who is the best center in the NBA? Next question.
Next question.
Highest percent. And by the way, it's funny that 27 out of 30 GMs are going with Nikola Jokic, but Embiid won the MVP. So that just goes to show you the power of the media narrative, not just in sports, but in politics and everything else as well. The media
also shows you the bullshit of the MVP award.
That's right. That's right. And that's why, Jonathan, I don't like when we talk about these things that you and I like to do, greatest of all time, this and that, and you gotta compare them to their era and look at their paper accolades and their paper resumes. I like stats over MVPs even because, again, you had the racist era where it was killing people who should have got MVP because they were black. They didn't get it. And then you've got, eras where the best player in the league may not have played on one of the three best teams in the league. So he didn't have a chance to win the MVP those years.
I tell you, I like finals MVPs, though. I like finals MVP.
Well, finals MVP is usually undeniable. I mean, usually we're all agreeing on who had the best. But then again, that doesn't matter too much to me because it could be in 5-game sample size. Who gives a shit? In the grand scheme of things,
won an NBA Finals MVP for a
year,
right? So, no, I'm with you. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I don't even understand this. Highest percentage of total votes on position. Who cares?
In other words, across the board.
Whatever. Well, they got it. They kind of got it right, but it doesn't make sense because Doncic was down there, but you got votes, and I don't understand. Right. Off-season moves. Which team made the best overall moves this offseason? Boston 1, Milwaukee 2, tied. I highlighted Portland. I think Portland raped and pillaged. I think that they positioned. Now, look, it's not like they're vaulting themselves into, championship contention or really even into the playoffs. But as far as what their objective was, they hit a grand slam home run. The Celtics and the Bucks hit a home run. The Portland Trailblazers hit a grand slam home run, period. They are loaded up, and they still have assets that they can continue to move, and Robert Williams and Brogdon. So they crushed that, especially knowing they had a guy. They had to trade him. They had no leverage. They were being forced to trade him to a particular team. They did every single thing possible the correct way and really, really ramped up and expedited and amplified they reduced the duration of this rebuild that they're inevitably going to have to go through. That's an interesting team. They're going to be up there on my League Pass teams as well. Thoughts?
I want to throw this at you, okay? I don't care about watching them this year other than our guy, for sure, right?
Well, you want to watch Skyler, but you want to watch Scoot.
That's true. That's a good point.
You don't want to watch Shadon Sharp and Anthony Simons cook?
No, I do not. And I'm not interested in watching DeAndre Ayton play basketball anymore either. So
how about play basketball as like a focal point? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. But I heard this conspiracy theory the other day, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but it is interesting. Have they positioned themselves to potentially 2 years from now bring Dame back? Lesser contract, lesser, like he's not, obviously you don't have to trade as much to get him at that point a couple years from now, right?
2 years from now, Scoot Henderson might be pushing all-star status and be the point guard, and Anthony Simons might be pushing all-star status and be the shooting guard. What is Dame going to do? Come off the bench?
Well, it's all going to depend on one of those two guys, right? There's no question. But I'm just saying, like, if Simons doesn't pan out, let's say, or Scoot for whatever reason, do you position yourself now where you could bring him back? Because you and I both know Damian Lillard, from what we've heard, super high character guy, right? I could see him saying, I'd love to go finish my career in Portland.
Dude, Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame, top 75 players don't play their whole career with a franchise and then leave to chase the title and then come back, Jonathan. It's never happened ever.
Oh, really? Really?
It's just too far-fetched. That would be like LeBron. That would be like LeBron going to Cleveland. It's just never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
You mean LeBron going back to Cleveland?
Exactly. Which one player acquisition will make the biggest impact? That's a blowout right there. And I don't think most GMs probably realize Victor Wembanyama was an answer. But here's the problem with Victor Wembanyama. He's going to make no impact because instead of winning, like if you don't have Victor on the Spurs, I think they win maybe 4 games, 4
Yeah.
and 78.
Yeah.
If they have Victor, I think they're going to win 23 or maybe 21. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant though, like you
It
said.
is irrelevant. Do you agree Dame is going to have a bigger impact than Drew Holiday?
I do, but I'd make it a little closer.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that big of a gap.
Beal's kind of an afterthought. Porzingis is kind of an afterthought. Van Vliet doesn't need to be on there because they're going to suck. And he's in the same boat as Victor. They're just not going to. You can't make an impact because they're not. Neither team's making the playoffs.
They put your guys on there. They put your guy on there. I love it.
Put Dylan Brooks in there. Yeah, he's going to make an impact, all right. There's going to be people bringing guns to the locker room and fist fighting and calling each other names. And God, that's going to be a disaster. What was the most underrated player acquisition? I don't really care about that. Nope. Which team will be? Did you care about that?
Nope.
That's
at all.
Yeah. Which was the best of the mediocre acquisition? I don't know. Which team will be the most improved? Now we got something. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking with grease. Dallas. What am I missing here? I don't understand what's happening. Is it because they suck so bad last year?
Why would they?
I think it's because they suck so bad last year. They won 38 games. And so if they win 45, that's a 7-game improvement, which is a big deal in the NBA. Is that the perspective? Is that it's like the Pistons? Well, yeah, they won a game and a half last year. Of course they're going to be improved. They can't get worse, and they get their best player. You know what I mean? I don't know. I like Orlando. I do think Houston's going to be improved. I think Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks are going to win them more games. I just don't think it matters. And I also think it's going to stunt the growth of the players that they really care about.
Now I got a problem.
Why?
You just included Dylan Brooks in the sentence that said he will help them win more games.
He is going to help them win more games up until the All-Star break, and then he'll get suspended for the league for the rest of the season. You know, he got thrown out of his first game. He punched somebody in the nuts his first game. He's like, man, they're out to get me. They're just out to get me. This is the price you pay for being Dylan Brooks. Referred to himself in the third person.
Always.
You would agree Oklahoma City is first and foremost?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Last year the Clippers got 41% of the votes. So these GMs, I don't know, man. Yeah. You know what was weird is last year a couple of the Clippers star players got injured. And weren't able to perform. And then even when they were healthy, they managed their games to kind of like preserve their energy.
Like they didn't play? They didn't play in those games?
There's some games where they could have played, but they didn't play. And then there were some games where Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were injured, Jonathan. I don't know if you read about that on in the newspaper.
Both of them at the same time?
It happened.
Well, I mean, I don't even know what to do with that. Let's move on. Okay.
2023 Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Wembanyama. I like the fact, though, that they gave higher percentages to Scoot and Holmgren than I thought they would. That's good.
Have you seen Vezenkov play?
No.
In fact, I haven't seen him play either, but he's in a very – I'm not saying he has any chances. I don't think he's going to do as many things as these other three guys, but – I've heard really good stuff about him. Like he was voted one of the best international players that wasn't in the NBA last year, which we're about to get to that question this year. And it's hilarious who's on the list. Did you see it?
Right.
But anyway, this Sasha Vezenkov guy is apparently a big time shooter, and he's in a very fertile offensive environment. He's going to be a great fit with the Sacramento Kings as a white Keegan Murray.
Great name too. Great name.
Yeah. I wish it was Vesnikov, but it's Vezenkov. Vajinkov. I don't know. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it. And then last year, the GMs nailed this one with Paolo Banchero getting 79% of the votes. Who will be the best player in 5 years? Which rookie, will be the best player in 5 years? 90% Wembanyama. You have any reason to think Scoot or Chet could push?
Sure, but I don't think Amin Thompson does. So I'd like to take him off the list. Yeah, he's going to be a good player, though. I do think he's going to be a good player.
Well, let me let you in on this little tidbit of goodiness. 5 years ago, the GMs were asked the question, which rookie will be the best 5 years from now? And DeAndre Ayton and Jaren Jackson got 27% of the votes each, so more than half combined.
Who else was in that class?
I am supposed to know this. That is the 2017 class. So that is Tatum. That is De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
I think that is Trae Young and Doncic were 2018.
Yep. Well, regardless, you've named two that are definitely better.
Regardless, we named what we needed to name.
Yeah.
Was that also Lonzo Ball and Markel Fultz? Yep.
Ayton was,
And Bagley.
Yeah.
And Bagley.
Yeah.
I tell you what, have you seen? I know you're not going to watch any Rockets games. Have you watched Cam Whitmore play?
No.
You're going to like Cam Whitmore.
Okay.
Cam Whitmore checks a lot of boxes for NBA point guards or NBA combo guards. You need to watch Cam Whitmore play.
He's going to have the ball this year, you think?
I don't know how. I mean, you have Van Vliet. I don't know how he's getting the ball. You have Van Vliet. You have you have the Thompson twin. You have Dylan Brooks, doesn't like to give the ball up. You have Jalen Green, who's a black hole, the blackest of the black holes, right? I mean that in the most disparaging way possible. That bitch is going to shoot it,
and they're talking about giving him more responsibility handling the ball this year. So,
jeez,
I don't.
That team is the most poorly constructed team ever. And what's really a shame is, I know you're not high on him, but Jabari Smith showed flashes in summer league,
right?
And Şengün is can't miss. Şengün is. Oh my God, I would kill to have Şengün on the Milwaukee Bucks or one of the teams that I like.
So good.
He is really freaking good, dude, and he's only going to get better. He is super intelligent. As his body gets a little less flabby and doughy. You remember Zubats? When Zubats first came to the league, it was like, God damn, what's this fraternity guy doing in the NBA? and not that he's this shredded monster, but like Zubats got his body under control, turned into a really good NBA player. All right, let's keep going. Last year, Jalen Duren and Tari East. Oh wait, which rookie was the biggest steal, basically? And so they said, I mean, that's a big percentage. Cam Whitmore. Some people think Scoot Henderson. I haven't seen these other guys play enough. I have heard great things about Keontae George in Utah. Jalen Duren and Tari Eason, both the GMs nailed that last year. Both those guys were steals where they were drafted. And by the way, we forgot Tari Eason. They're talking about increasing his role this year.
I know.
Houston's got a wide array of talent, dude. They just can't develop it all together. Like, there's too many guys that need to eat, and it's just not going to work. That's why I don't understand, if you're not trying to win, why God's name would you bring in Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet? I know you got to spend money, but like, I just don't understand why you had to spend that salary, but why would you bring in those guys? They're just going to stunt the growth of all the guys around them.
And VanVleet can more effectively go just sit in the corner if necessary, right? But although he's a very, very overrated shooter.
I don't think he's a good shooter at all.
But Dylan Brooks is going to think he should be the guy. So anyhow, I'd really rather not talk about him anymore. Let's move on. I'm with you.
You sure? VanVleet. VanVleet's a career 37% three-point shooter, but he was 39 from the field last year and 34 from three, which means he's just shoots
40 from the field for his career. 40 from the field.
That's really, really bad. Who's the best international player in the NBA? This is the one that we got a kick out of, and I posted a YouTube poll because the MVP got 1 out of 30 votes.
Yep.
So, again, another reason the media narrative is a very powerful thing. Everybody chill out. Think for yourself. Is this right? Is Doncic better than Giannis?
I wouldn't. I'd have him 2.
Yeah.
You'd
have Giannis 2 and Doncic 3?
Yeah.
Would you have Embiid 4th?
Yeah. As of today.
Do you remember a time where we had 4? And I'm not including the SGA, dude. SGA is a freaking animal. He's a first-team All-NBA.
Yeah, he'd be 5th for me.
Do you remember a time when we had 5 foreign players in the NBA this good? Has this ever happened?
Well, bro, you could argue those are the 4 best players in the world. You can argue it.
I mean, Durant's got an argument to be in there, but there's question. I know. I'm just saying there's question marks. But you're right. You absolutely could argue. You're looking at the 4 best players in the world in some order.
Yeah, you could argue it.
This is the question. I highlighted the whole thing in red because I think it's hilarious.
Okay.
It just goes to show you, if you live somewhere on Earth, not in the United States, but you can play your ass off, you find your way to the NBA. Because these guys suck. I am positive. Nikola Mirotic was a okay NBA player about 7 years ago after Bobby Portis punched him in his mouth because he deserved it.
He was actually better than okay. He was solid.
He was better than average.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay. Well, we're 7 years later or 5 years later, something like that. He can't be that good.
I don't think it's that long, huh? Wasn't it like 3 years ago? Am I wrong?
Dude, I'm telling you, we got to look this up. It's been a while. Has it been 3 years? It feels like it's been longer than that. When's the last time Mirotic played? 2018. It's almost 5 years.
Yeah,
This is
right.
23, 24. It's 5 years ago, man.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Wow.
and how old is the guy? God dang.
Dude,
He's
he
30. He's almost 33. Okay.
he took
So
that
he's old.
shot.
Eddie Tavares couldn't make it in the NBA. He got sent packing. Alex Sarr, I don't know. I keep hearing his name, and I think he's just kind of a slasher guy. Zanin Musa couldn't make it in the NBA. He was on the, I think, the Nets, and he never even saw the court. Willie Hernan Gomez, for God's sakes. I mean, are we kidding? And then Juancho Hernan Gomez, who's more of an actor than a basketball player. And then Rokas Jokubaitis, which is
Never heard of him.
it's a great name.
It is.
Jokubaitis. I
Sounds
mean,
like a
you got to
disease.
admit. Last year, Victor somehow was listed. No kidding.
Now, Mirotic, by the way, have you ever seen a guy take a shot in the face and run to the other side of the world as quickly as he did?
Yeah, I would too. If Bobby Portis didn't like me, I'd get the hell. I certainly switch teams, but I would even switch countries. You're right. And switch continents if possible. Who's the best? Again, Bobby Portis. I think he made it into honorable mention on our all dark alley draft. If you missed our all dark alley draft, you got to go back and see it. Crazy eyes. Who is the best defensive player in the NBA? Were you surprised at this?
No, I'm not. And I know Giannis on the ball, right? But I think if you talk about who controls the defensive end the most, I would still put him first when healthy. Drew Holiday, although, I mean, literally beaten to death by Jimmy Butler last year in that series, okay? I still think he's the best on-ball defender in the league. I still do, okay?
Where's Michael Bridges?
That's a great question that he got no votes at all. Now, the guy who I was fixing to say needs to be, like, in that percentage is Dort from Oklahoma City, okay? He is ridiculous, dude, on the ball.
How anybody in their right mind could think that Marcus Smart is a better defender than Luguentz Dort? And I'm comparing people of the exact same size and stature and position.
Right.
You can't watch any extended sample of basketball in the NBA of those two players and think that Marcus Smart is as good as Luguentz Dort on the defensive end. It's not even an argument. It's not an opinion. It's very obvious. But here's the deal. I think the best defensive player in the world is Anthony Davis. I think the numbers back it up. I don't even think it's freaking close, to be honest with you.
I was going to say he definitely needs to be there. I think
he's the best.
So if you put still take Giannis. I don't know. But look, you are 100%. Like when you watched the playoffs last year, even though he got tortured by Jokic, who didn't, okay, up to that point, he had controlled the playoffs.
Controlled it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think he's the best defensive player in the world. Now, I don't know how much longer, and I know you got to be on the court. Availability is the best ability. We'll see. Who's the best perimeter defender in the NBA? They got your guy Drew Holiday 1. They got Bridges number 2, but he didn't get a single vote in the best defensive player. I think there's a big bias there, right?
Where's Lou Dort? Give me Lou Dort, please. Can you?
Lou Dort is in the honorable mention, also receiving votes. And once again, they have Marcus Smart tied for third as the third best perimeter defender in the NBA. And I've got highlighted in notes next to it why. Luguentz Dort is a younger, stronger, faster, better, smarter version of Marcus Smart.
Where's Derek White? He's better than Marcus Smart.
Derek White was really good last year. How about Tatum sneaking in here as the best perimeter defender in the NBA, Mr. Stiffy?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Not your kind of Mr. Stiffy. Who is the best interior defender in the NBA?
Got to be Anthony Davis.
You know how I feel about this. You know how I feel about
Lopez. Brook Lopez probably is the best interior defender other than Anthony Davis in the league. Okay.
If you never have to leave the restricted circle.
Right.
Restricted half circle. You're right.
Yeah, Gobert.
How about Draymond Green at his 6'5" ass?
Stupid. I'm so tired of watching Jaren Jackson because anyhow, in the regular season, Jaren Jackson is probably one of the best interior defenders in the league because he plays all the games and he tries hard.
Yeah.
But,
congrats.
Anyway, move on.
Most versatile defender in the NBA. That's a lame question.
Yep.
Who's the best defensive team in the NBA?
Well, you think Boston is going to be
90%.
Arguably the best defensive team in history, you think?
I don't understand how it's not 100%. I don't understand how anyone could rattle off the names Drew Holiday and then pick one, Derek White or Horford.
Right.
Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Porzingis. And I don't see how, and if you rank 1 through 6, I think it could be the greatest 1 through 6 defensive team in the history of basketball.
It could. I mean, there's an argument to be had. For sure.
Now, I'm not including the 92 Dream Team because I would put them on the list too with Pippen and Jordan and Ewing and Elijah and Rodman. I mean, David Robinson.
I'm not sure I would because that team, I'm not. They just scored the hell out of it.
Well, I'm just saying if they wanted to. You see him lock up on Angola? You didn't see him lock up?
They did.
I'm just surprised that they didn't get – I mean, they got 69% of the votes last year.
It should be a lock. Yeah, you're right.
Nobody think about it. If they got 69% last year and then they added Drew Holiday and Porzingis, why and Derek White emerged as a legitimate good defensive player? Why did that change?
Why does Milwaukee get that many votes considering what they lost?
I know. They went from the allegedly best perimeter defender in the NBA to maybe the 250th best in Dame Lillard. Coaches, who's the best coach? Spoelstra. Who is the best manager, motivator of people? Spoelstra.
Sure.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean,
I
don't know.
You go either way. Yeah,
Spoelstra's doing more with less, so I mean, you can't argue that. Yep. Which head coach makes the best in-game adjustants? Spoelstra. So,
now, shockingly enough, Lou, I agree with being on that list because I didn't think I would.
We never did. Never did.
Good though. Anyhow, all right, move on.
And then we connected the dots a few episodes back that he is always within arm's length of greatness, whether it's a player or a coach. Kobe, Jordan, Phil Jackson, Steve Kerr, Steph Curry. Like, he's always touching the greatest to ever do it somehow. He's amazing. It's like a four-leaf clover. Which head coach runs the best offense? Does this surprise you, Mike Brown?
Well, they had the best offense last year. So
I know, and I think that's what the GMs base their answers on. Steve Kerr last year was 62%, and he dropped all the way to 23%. I don't know.
Whatever.
It seems odd that it would
whoever
drop.
Whoever has Jokic runs the best offense.
Right, yeah, I'll tell you who's not on here is Mike. I'm going to cost you 2 titles, Budenholzer. Which head coach has the best defensive schemes? Spoelstra. Yep. Which new or relocated coach? I'm done with these.
Yeah,
which best assistant coach? Which active player will make the best head coach someday? This is interesting because our guy Garrett's on there, so I'm glad to see Garrett made it on there. I agree, Mike Conley. I agree, Chris Paul. Dude, I have no problem with anything on this list. I don't know about Fred VanVleet, but I have no problem with anybody on this list. But I did underline Jose Alvarado because I think that's odd because if you've ever heard him talk, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Chris Paul to me is interesting that he's there because he pisses a lot of people off.
He pisses a lot of people off, but there's been a lot of coaches in NBA history that have pissed a lot of people off. Total asshole. George Karl comes to mind.
That's back then, though. Got to have a different dude now. Got to be a different guy now. You have to. George Karl would never make it in today's deal. Larry Brown would never make it in today's deal.
That's right. Larry Brown's another one. Like the guys that play the games, the puppet game. Miscellaneous. Which team's the most fun to watch? Well, this is a loaded question because they're only choosing from good teams.
It depends on what
the Rockets are the most fun to watch because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if there's going to be. You don't know what's going to happen.
Phoenix is going to be fun to watch this year, dude.
Phoenix is going to be really fun to watch. Is there a chance they're the greatest offense the league's ever seen? Is there a chance in the West we have the greatest offense the league's ever seen, and in the East we have the greatest defense the league's ever seen?
Sure.
Is there a chance somebody is screaming at their phone or monitor right now that I'm a gigantic idiot? All of the above.
That could have happened for the last 52 minutes and 36 seconds. So who cares?
That's right.
All right.
I don't find Golden State all that fun to watch.
Not anymore. Yeah. I mean, stuff is fun, but I mean, other than that, that's whatever.
I tell you what, I would have put Milwaukee on here just to see Damian Lillard and Giannis play together. I would have put them on there for sure. And I think the Celtics are going to be damn fun to watch. I think the Pelicans are going to be fun to watch. I think the Thunder are going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Really fun.
They'll be fun. OKC is going to be fun to watch, dude.
Yeah, the Wizards are going to be – no, I'm just kidding. Which team has the best home court advantage? Nah, who cares? Which team will have the league's most – what'd you say?
The team
Jokic. Yeah. All of the answers to the rest of these are going to be Jokic. Which team will have the league's most efficient offense this season? The
Denver.
Jokic's.
Yes, the Jokic's.
The Celtics,
no.
Interesting.
No, I think they got less efficient, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting that the Suns would be tied for 5th.
How are they not going to be?
Strikes me as very odd. Very odd.
Let me guess. We're going to hear too many mid-range jumpers. Yeah, from 3 of the greatest mid-range shooters of all time. Yeah,
too many players who need the ball. Which team's level of success this season is toughest to predict? Sixers is certainly just because we don't know what's going to happen with Harden. The Suns. This is a weird question. I guess they're saying which team would it not surprise you if they finished second or 11th, right? And the Mavericks fit into that for me. Like the Mavericks would have all the votes right here because I don't know what I'm about to get from them. And the Clippers would be the second team because
Why is Dallas hard to predict? They're not any good. Why is Dallas hard to predict?
But because Doncic is just that good and Kyrie's just that good, and they have Derek Lively.
But Kyrie's not hard to predict.
No, but I mean, if those two guys get cooking, you can't see them coming out 12-3.
Sure, and then
could you see them coming out 3-12?
And then going 3-12 the next, yeah.
Well, that's why they're second on the list because both of those you're like, I guess, sure.
I'm talking about at the end of the season. It's not.
If I ask you the question about the Wizards, can you see them coming out 12-3? The answer is no. They're easy to predict, right? Can you see the Bucks being 1-16? No, that's why they're easy.
I would put Minnesota here, right?
Oh, I think Minnesota is going to be very good. And remember, I'm also the guy that picked them to finish like third in the West last year when we did our predictions. You remember that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Move on. Yeah. All right.
All right. Which team has the most? Oh, how about this one? Which team? The last year the GMs voted? Yeah. No shit. Brooklyn. Slightly, right? Which Brooklyn? Which team has the most promising young core? Blowout.
100%, please. 100%.
Well, I get where they're coming from with Cleveland.
No, I don't.
Cleveland.
Orlando, yes, not Cleveland.
Orlando's real. I know, but Orlando is kind of a big two, dude. I mean, I don't include Wendell Carter and Fultz. I guess you could include Fultz. Suggs is just. I don't think he's that guy. And
Cole Anthony is like in Cleveland. Who are you? Huh? Mobley. You're including Mobley in Cleveland.
Darius Garland. Mobley. He's a good defensive player.
How old is Darius Garland now?
23.
Oh, he's that young. Okay.
2019 rookie. He's in his fourth year, and he only went to college 1 year, and he only played like 5 games for Vanderbilt.
So okay. All right.
23, probably 24. Which player is the most athletic?
I like this one. Zion, if healthy, can go to number 1.
This is a great question. All 4 of those guys are unique in their own way. One is a freaking mosquito.
Yes.
One is just we've not seen a human being reach places on the court until this year. We're going to see another one named Victor Wembanyama do these types of things, but we've never seen a player dunk balls from certain things or block these shots or steal this ball or move laterally at this size. And so Giannis from a horizontal agility standpoint, more agility. Anthony Edwards, old school, prototypical Jordan type shit, right? Just crazy bouncy off 1 or 2 feet. And then Zion, just you never seen a fat guy do what he does.
Maybe I think Zion because he's the least likely looking guy to do what he does. Maybe that's why.
He's definitely the least
likely. Those are the 4 answers.
Those are my 4 answers. And Jalen Green is in shade on sharp. I get it. He kind of jumps well. Yeah. Those 2 guys are so far in the rearview mirror that it is a 4-horse race for sure. But it's funny because they're all in different ways. Like Anthony Edwards is prototypical. Oh, yeah. If you saw that guy in a shopping mall, with shorts on, and you just kind of saw him in shorts and a tank top, you'd be like, "Holy shit! What is he? Is he a 100-meter dash? Does he run 100? Is he an NBA player? Does he high jump? What does he do? Because he does something." Morant, I mean, he's so little you don't even know. Giannis, you would be like, "That guy's too tall. He probably can't even play basketball." And then Zion is like, you'd see him in the food court, right? Who knows what he's choosing between Zabaros and the Chinese places? You don't know what he's going to choose. You definitely don't think he's going to choose a 45-inch vertical leap. Yeah. Which player is the best pure shooter? Why is this not 100%? Did you realize one GM chose Luke Kennard as a better shooter than Steph Curry and Kevin Durant?
Wow. Okay, so best pure shooters in the history of basketball, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant's in the discussion like as top 5. So I don't want to put where? Like why?
I've got to highlight it. A human being who is the general manager for an NBA team chose Luke Kennard. Oh, you know why? Well, this is still not a reason. You can't vote for your own player. And so that's why you don't see 100% on anything. But you could have voted for Kevin Durant or Klay Thompson or somebody instead of, who's the GM for the Warriors? Is it Bob Myers still, or is it somebody else? I think
he's out now, isn't he?
He's out. So it's whoever it is. You didn't have to choose Luke Kennard. You could have chosen Kevin Durant, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, Luke Kennard shot a super high percentage last year, I think.
I don't give a shit,
Yeah,
Jonathan.
I agree. I'm with you. I'm not saying he's that. I'm just saying
Which player is the fastest with the ball? This is a great one. These would be my two choices
Yep.
as well. I haven't seen
Yep.
enough of Scoot. I want to
Yep.
see some more.
Yep.
He reminds me a lot of Derrick Rose. Reminds me a lot of Derrick Rose.
Yep.
And apparently, De'Aaron Fox's ascension last year led to John Morant going from 62% to 37%. I think a lot more people are aware of just how elite De'Aaron Fox was, something I've been saying forever. Which player is the best at moving without the ball? This should be 100%. Oh, well, actually, Clay should get a vote.
No, he shouldn't. Steph's 100%. Clay doesn't
so?
move. Clay moves without it, but not nearly like he used to. Steph is 100%. Yes.
Okay.
Best passer. That's easy.
I'm looking at these three. This is what I meant to ask you. This is why I've got a little note written out there. Nikola Jokic 1, Luka Doncic 2, LeBron James 3. Are those three guys all in the top 15 passers of all time?
Top 10.
You think they're all top 10 passers of all time?
100% because of the passes that they can make that nobody else other than a couple of guys in history could make. Yes. So
because of their size, they trump Gary Payton, they trump Stockton, they trump Isaiah, they trump these little people.
Yeah, and how about this? Their court vision is better too because of their size, right? So I think also I heard this is retarded on NBA radio show the other day, and Termini and Johnson were talking about it, and they were saying, "Oh, Luka shouldn't be on the list because he dribbles too much, and James Harden shouldn't be on the list because he dribbles too much, and this and that and the other." And I'm like, so what constitutes a great passer? We're like, well, it's got to be somebody with quick decisions. They make quick decisions. So I'm envisioning they think the best passers are these like ball reversal people, right?
Draymond Green.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, do you understand that Luka has 10 eyes on him every single possession? And
that's what I was going to say.
People open. He throws people open. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway.
I would make the opposite argument that guys who have the ball in their hand the most have the most people looking at them and the most people standing off in help side position. Yes. And so for them to make decisions and compute and determine the right pass to make and making those passes, I think is much more difficult than somebody who just catches the ball on a ball reversal with a bunch of dudes sprinting at him.
100%.
That's idiotic. Yeah, for sure. Let me just say one thing, and you tell me if it's crazy. I think Larry Bird's the greatest passer of all time.
Okay, so I've argued that before. I think it's him or Magic. Okay, I think if you told Larry Bird you need to fill Magic's role, I think he would probably be unequivocally the greatest passer of all time. I think he could average 15 assists a game. He's the biggest passing genius I've ever seen. To me,
yeah. And here's the thing. What if Larry Bird had played in this era?
Oh my God!
How much easier is it to make a pass and make an assist in this era? Listen to this. The passes he was making, and I know a lot of the recipients of these passes were these two names I'm about to give you, but Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale and Larry Bird. That is 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot. Yep. Imagine how jammed up the court, and then you got two guards. Ainge could shoot, but like Dennis Johnson wasn't exactly a knockdown shooter, and people didn't shoot threes like then, so the floor wasn't spaced this way. Right. Imagine if Bird had the space into play in this era. He could play Jokic's position, sort of. You know what I mean? Being that catch at the top of the key guy, almost like a Sabonis.
Yeah, he was 6'10". Now keep this in mind. Larry Bird would have the easiest. Magic as well, but Larry Bird probably have the easiest. It would be easier for Larry Bird to average a triple-double in today's league than maybe anybody else because of the number of possessions, the number of three-point misses where nobody's there for a defensive rebound, right?
Nobody boxes out now.
Nobody, right? And the number of threes, just the number of possessions, dude. He could be 24, 12, and 10 in his sleep. In today's and shoot a ridiculously high percentage, Well,
so, he was also doing all of that when threes, you couldn't take volume threes, and so people weren't, they didn't have to close out and put their hands on his waist. Now if Larry Bird caught a ball in today's NBA, you better damn make sure you can smell his breath or you're cooked. It's over.
Yep.
Which player is the best leader? LeBron 1, Curry 2, Jokic 3, Butler 4. Screw it, man. I'm going Butler. I'm going Butler 1. period.
Well, you know what? I'm not arguing with it, but that's definitely the list to me. I don't know if is Jokic
It might be more Spoelstra. I don't know.
leader? Yeah.
Who's the most versatile player in the NBA? I don't think that's even close. I think it's Durant. I don't know. It depends on your definition of versatile and what exactly you're talking about. I mean, are you talking about being able to play offense and defense? Are you talking about being able to play point guard and center? Are you talking about being able to guard point guard and center? No matter what you're talking about, Kevin Durant's the answer, because Kevin Durant is the one player in the NBA you can drop into any NBA depth chart right now, and you don't even have to tell him what the plays are or what his job is. He'll figure it out instantly, and he can play any role you want him to. Kevin, I need you to be the point guard for this team. Deal. I need you to be the center for this team. Probably better than half the centers in the NBA. And Giannis can play center, and Giannis can do those things. LeBron can do those things too, but LeBron can't shoot the ball like Kevin Durant. And so for that reason, I think that makes him less versatile.
Maybe so. I still would take LeBron one, because I think you could take LeBron and do what you talked about with Durant because of his ability to be a true point guard.
Yeah, you're right for sure. Well, he would obviously be a better point guard than Kevin Durant, but I'm just saying Kevin Durant can do all those things too, and he can guard everybody too. Those are definitely the three guys that come to mind for me in some order.
Yeah.
Which NBA player has the best basketball IQ? I don't like this question. I find it hard to believe anybody's basketball IQ is greater than LeBron James. I just find it very freaking hard to believe.
Maybe historically.
I'm thinking possibly historically. You do have players like Bird and Magic. Those are the guys come to mind.
Yep.
Dominique Wilkins comes to mind.
Jokic just makes things look so much easier than everybody else. I skated past that. Yeah.
Brad Daugherty, Rory Sparrow.
I mean, Mike Dunleavy,
Greg Dreiling, Mark Akers.
Mike Jaminski.
Which player would you want taking a shot with a game on the line? I'm not sure why, but Steph is not 97%.
Oh, I'm not.
Durant
Would be my.
Here's the question: do they have the ball in their hands? They've got to go create their shot, or is the ball's been rotated? I guess they didn't give them.
I don't care, but I view it as you have the ball in your hands, right? So.
Okay, well then there is definitely an argument.
Yeah, I would definitely say Durant. In fact, to me, it's not close.
Well, I think it's close.
Lillard would be number 2.
That's what I was going to say. I would say it's close. Yeah. That's tough, man. That's tough.
Yep.
Which change in season tournament? Well, let's just talk about these. The player participation policy. How are they going to police this, Jonathan? I know it's a huge deal, and everybody's like, finally. What are you going to do if Kawhi Leonard misses a game on Monday and they have a game on Wednesday and Thursday, and he's got a ankle sprain or a or a quad strain? What are they going to do? Make them play? They're going to fine them? I mean, I haven't read all the stuff. I'm assuming they can't make someone play basketball, so I'm assuming they're going to fine the team. To fine the team, you've got to have an independent medical examiner go in there and determine you're faking. Basically, every time someone gets fined, an independent NBA representative, medical representative, has gone in there and said he's faking.
Yep.
They're lying.
Yep. I look at it and go, in a league full of guys who really, honestly, now some of the stars don't care about postseason accolades. They don't. Okay. They don't care if they play 65 games, right?
Well, that's a different rule, Jonathan. That's this one.
Oh, 65 game.
That rule is the biggest farce ever, because it only applies to 15 or 20 dudes in the league, right? It only applies to the guys that could make all NBA who are going to play close to 65 games.
Look, the player participation policy and the 65 game award rule are the equivalent of the NCAA trying to enforce NIL rules.
Thank you.
Can't happen.
Tax apron restrictions, I think that will matter. I'm not sophisticated or savvy enough to understand it, but essentially it's aimed at killing the super teams.
Yep.
And so I think what's going to happen, this may be a little early in the game to make a prediction like this, but I think we're maybe 5 years from now, we're going to see a lot more big 2s than big 3s.
I think you're seeing it right now.
Well, we see it in Milwaukee.
Man, you're seeing it all over the place. Think about it.
Well, you're not seeing it yet because Phoenix has, freaking 4. I mean, you still got a lot of big 3s and big 4s, but I don't think you will. Like the deal in Boston, that's a 2-year. That's it. It's over after 2 years. Like, there's no dynasty. because after 2 years, it's broken. It's gone. It's gone. It's done. They
like,
they can't do what they need to do.
I'm looking at Denver. I'm looking at Miami. I'm looking at the Lakers. I'm looking at the Clippers when they decide to play basketball. I'm looking.
As big twos, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's just because they couldn't get to 3. They're trying. They're trying to get Harden.
More of them than I do threes.
They can get him now, but they won't. You won't. I don't think you'll be able to put big threes together the same way with the same amount of ease in the future.
Yeah.
Flopping technicals. Thank you, God. Thank you. In-season tournament. I like it because I'm a soccer.
By the way, go back real quick. The flopping techs, they'll do that before the All-Star break, and you'll see that they'll kill it after. It's like
because if you get to a certain number, it affects your eligibility.
Just watch. Yep.
Extra coaches challenge. I wish there wasn't one, but apparently there is. In-season tournament. What are your thoughts on the in-season tournament? I need to do a little video on that explaining it. But
yeah, well, I really need to get a feel for it. I have done the research. I know what it's about, but I need to get a feel for what the games look like and how much it matters and the distinction that.
The games are regular season games. There's only 3 extra games.
They matter more. The teams take them more seriously because they're part of the in-season tournament. That. So, yeah,
I get the vibe. I get the vibe. First of all, there needs to be monetary consequences to make anything matter to these guys and these owners. Yep. I get the vibe that the Orlandos, that the OKCs, that the Sacramentos, that the Pelicans, that these types of teams that are on the up and have not experienced a great deal of playoff success, notwithstanding the Kings had a nice run last year, it's going to matter more to them.
Yeah.
Now, I think that only matters if it gets down to crunch time. Like, I don't think LeBron on the first night, like December 4th or whatever, I don't think they're going to say, well, this game doesn't matter. It does, because it's still a regular season freaking game. So it can't have less meaning. But I think for some of those teams that I just described, it could have more meaning.
That's what I'm saying. Like, will it show up more? Right.
Yeah.
And so that's all I care about.
Then I think there's buku money involved if you get to the Final Four. So at that point, I think it's going to matter to everybody. Yeah. Whoever's in that Final Four, I think all those teams are really going to want to win that thing.
Yeah. Well, and look, at the end of the day, does it change the feel of the season? That's what I'm waiting to see. I don't know if it'll change the feel of the season. So
they're just trying to add a little bit of additional meaning and make a little bit extra revenue in Vegas that weekend. I think it's a feel-good thing. Yeah, I think it's going to be all right, man. I think it's going to be a nice little reset and a nice, what's next? Relegation?
Well, yeah, we may come back at the end of the season and go, yeah, that in-season tournament really didn't matter. But I like the attempt. So we'll see.
All right, that's it. That's another episode. We're a little over. We're an hour and 11 minutes, 50 GM questions, and we skipped about 12 of them. The pinkies are out. The game is over. Stay tuned next week, approximately 5, 6, 7 days from now. We're going to do another NBA past and present where we just go through all 30 teams. We're going to go to their FanDuel win totals for the season, and then we're going to give our best guess, as to whether they're going over or under. We're going to go rapid fire, Jonathan, because we got to get 30 teams. That's about 2 minutes. Yeah, it's about 2 minutes each. So we're going to give 1 or 2 quick bullet points. Can't get too distracted with that. But that'll be a fun episode, and it'll put us on the hook, and we'll put our names on the line and see where we stand. We'll see what we agree on and what we don't agree on. I think it'll be fun. Thank you guys for watching. As always, keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.